Okay, hey Chuckle Fucks, it's your boy Dark Raikou here. Now, before I go on any further with, saying one thing, I'm redoing this what if. I didn't like part 1 actually that much. I did like some things, but that was just because yesterday I was first tired, and second was on some bullshit, but yeah. But mostly I was just damn so tired, so of course I couldn't really recognize what I was actually thinking about the whole damn day. Because yes, you see here, what if usually just come out of nowhere for me for randomly thoughts? Either for me just hearing music or from just like doing something important most of the time. And then they come to me just out of fucking randomness. But not the point. That's how I just wanted to explain. So yeah. So of course I was kind of thinking the whole day, was this a good what if for me? Yesterday I uploaded. Nah, fuck it. I actually wanted to redo it, and then continue on with it. So of course it's going to be a redo of part 1, because there's no part 2, and yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to mention, but I took like 1 minute of your fucking time, so let me begin. Also, I did mention about the Sparta one, the Sparta what if. I might continue that on, but might also go into another another anime for a what if. And that is basically, that anime is called Akane. Wait, what was it called? Sorry. So the other anime is called Akame Got Killed, and of course I have a what if for that for some reason. Like it just, when I was watching the anime, like I'm on episode what was on I think I was like on episode 11, and for some reason on that episode I was just thinking, what if? You know what? God, since there's one game I played mostly a lot, and it's one of my favorite games, Assassin's Creed, mixed with that anime. I don't know. My brain works differently. This goes the same with my fucking first channel, because I have too many damn videos on my first channel that I haven't fucking finished. So you can understand what the second channel is going to be about. It's probably going to be like the exact same thing of my fucking first one, but just different animes. Now, not the point. I took 2 minutes of your time. Yes, I should shut up half the time and stop rambling on. But this is probably the second channel I should kind of do that, because, well, my first channel I do the same, but mostly this is the sick. Whatever. Shut the fuck up, you goddamn bastard. Most of y'all are thinking. But whatever. Let me begin. So, we will begin in What If Issei Had a God Devilfruit, also known as the Kami Kami no Mi. Now, not the point. Let's begin. So, of course, Issei kind of gets up really fast, screaming out, "No, Rias!" After seeing her cry, and then this is where Issei kind of passed out and woke up. He was in his bed, and when he got up, Graceophy, yeah, I think that's her name, Graceophy appears, kind of saying, hello there. This is where Issei says, you're Graceophy, or something like that. This is where, well, she nodded. This is where, well, she does explain and why she's there. And that's where Issei kind of thinks about it. He then says, I will go, but let me prepare for a little bit. This is where Graceophy nodded, and this is where, well, Issei kind of gets up. I should also mention, side note, I was eating ice cream. I might be coughing a little bit. Yeah, that's probably bad enough for me to eat ice cream while I'm sick. Or kind of sick. I don't know. I cough for some reason randomly, but yeah, probably because I just need water. Not the point. Let me go back into what if. Of course, this is where Issei, he kind of gets up and does ask Drake for power. This is where Drake understands, and Issei does sacrifice his arm. This is where, well, Issei does sacrifice his arm, and this is where Issei now has a dragon arm. This is where, well, he kind of first goes downstairs. Well, first, he knows that his parents aren't home at all, because, well, for some reason, he has this weird sense of feeling that his parents aren't home. So, of course, he does ask what's it called, well, before kind of asking, Asia? Yeah, Asia? for the what's it called, cross and holy water that she basically has because she used to be a sister of, well, the what's it called, church. So yeah, before he kind of goes down to kind of not downstairs, before he kind of goes to ask her for that, he kind of goes downstairs for just some food because he feels kind of hungry. This is where, well, he kind of like goes into the kitchen, and of course this is where, well, he kind of walks past, well, the kitchen table. He grabs like, well, first of all, he looks in the fridge, finds that there's barely anything to eat. He just gets like this toasted, like basically bread and all that. That's not even toasted or anything, just eats it. But before doing that, he looks at the table and sees a weird colorful fruit, like a very, very colorful, very beautiful kind of fruit. But of course, it had these white lines all around it, but yet at the same time, there were dark lines. It was confusing to him, but he didn't care. He then saw a paper, like right next to it, like a note, but on top of the note of the paper was this card that was kind of, it looks kind of like silver gold. Yeah, it was like silver gold that had a face on it. Well, like a picture of, a face, of a smiling face and all that, but crossed out. This is where Issei says, that looks familiar for some reason. He doesn't understand, but then this is where he looks at the paper that's right now written. It's in cursive. He says, I don't know how to read cursive. Fuck! This is where, well, he does take out the little card. He does notice that's kind of sharp and all that, but kind of. He takes it out just a little closer to it. It looks cool and all that. Of course, he's holding it with his dragon arm. And this is where, well, he then looks at the paper. This is where, well, he reads it or tries to understand what words does it say. Until he looks at the back. This is where, well, the back just says, eat the fruit, dumbass. This is where, well, Issei said, why would I eat this fucking fruit? This is where, well, he then looks down and it says, bye, older brother. This is where, well, Issei winds his eyes and he does remember a little bit about his, like, brothers, which he has two. He has two older brothers. Of course, this is where one is older than the other one, but of course, this is where Issei remembers them a little bit. He just remembers them, one always smiling, the other one kind of smoking, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei doesn't trust the fruit at the same time, but if it was given by his older brother, then he kind of trusts it more. This is where Issei was about to grab the fruit until Drake kind of say, what are you doing? This is where, well, Issei says, about to eat a fruit? Don't do that. This is where, well, Issei says, why not? For some reason, it's a bad idea for you to eat that fruit. I don't know, I have a strange feeling. That fruit, for some reason, is giving out this kind of weird power. I don't think you should eat it. This is where Issei kind of still looks at the paper. And this is where older brother is still on that, like, what's it called? It says older brother, but under that, it's kind of a little bit like invisible a little bit, but it says DH, which just means basically he understands that those are the signature of his, like, older brother. Oldest brother, mostly. DH. First name is D, well, mostly I'm not going to say it, which you probably already know, but last name is, well, Hyodo, because that's actually his last name, mostly Issei Hyodo, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei, he ignores Drake warning and all that, and this is where Drake says, what are you doing? This is where Issei grabs a fruit, like he first lets go of the paper and puts it down, like, on the table, grabs a fruit, and just takes a big chunk of it. It just starts eating it all. Ignoring, well, what's it called, Drake's kind of warning, and Drake is just screaming at his head, saying, idiot, what are you doing? This is where, well, Issei is done finishing the fruit and all that. He, like, finished it all. He just ate it. He didn't really need to do that, but fuck it. This is where, well, Issei then fell. He was just coughing in his mouth, saying, oh, that shit tastes terrible. What the fuck? Was that your warning? Nah. This is where Drake says, I don't know. This is where, well, for some reason, Issei's eyes started kind of glowing a little bit with strange power. He looks at the paper again. He did kind of, like, put it at the other side just to see the cursive. because he did kind of like put it down like that. Of course, when he looks at the cursive words, he's actually understanding what it says exactly. This is where, well, he says, welcome to the Joker family, Issei, my little brother. So, okay, all you have to think in your head, it also said to say it in a very, well, kind of dark voice a little bit. And Issei is trying to think of it in his head in dark voice. Pretty much it says, welcome to the Joker clan. Or not Joker clan, the Joker family, Issei, my little brother. If you're reading this, you have already ate the fruit. Because I know damn well you don't know how to read even or write in cursive for fucking being a moron. Easy gets a check mark, but yeah. This is where, well, he then reads more. This is where, well, pretty much the fruit that you just ate is called a Kami Kami no Mi. Basically, if you don't know what that fucking means, then you're more of a moron than I ever thought. This is where, well, Issei gets more annoyed. This is where, well, but then there's like little laughter marks like, ha ha ha, idiot. This is where, well, Issei, I'm gonna fucking kill this person. This is where, well, pretty much, he then goes on, pretty much, this fruit is a golly type of fruit. You will know soon, very, very soon, my little brother, and what it does. Very soon. But I might have left you with that fruit, but I also did leave you with two interesting things. Just go to your room and see what I left you in your closet. Huh. They're going to be very helpful for you in the near future. Just a little gift since I've been missing 7 of your birthdays since the last time I saw you, little Issei. This is where, well, Issei wanted his eyes, and this is where 7 of his birthdays. Yes, he's now 17. The last time he kind of remembers seeing these people, or mostly one person in particular, because this is where the note was actually particularly from this person, DH, was 7 years ago, meaning that he was 10 when he saw them. And he does know what happened to them. Well, not kinda exactly. Pretty much, he understands a little bit, but when he was 10, it was kind of confusing. He was just sad when his, what's it called, brothers left. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei's eyes just decided to transform back to brown because they were glowing with this yellowish color when he was reading them. Or not yellowish color, like this very like brightish kind of like lightish bluish color, and the other one is like a purple dark color. But this is where they're just transformed back, and this is where Issei said, okay. Issei said, bleh, it's like that. This is where, well, Drake was confused, but saw that Issei isn't dead. He's not dying at any rate. Instead, he feels like Issei's body is changing. It's getting more muscular on its own. Well, without even Issei noticing this, Drake can notice it so fast. Issei's body is changing rapidly. After eating that fruit, after consuming that fruit, like eating it all, his body is starting to change rapidly. His mind is expanding. And other things seem crazy. This is where, well, Drake doesn't say anything, instead he just stays quiet. This is where, well, he noticed that the dragon arm that, well, mostly that Issei kind of sacrificed that arm, is kind of glowing with this bluish color, making it kind of not let Issei's arm hurt that much with the dragon energy flowing through him that much. Drake notices it. Drake doesn't say anything. Drake just stays silent. This is where, well, we go into Issei kind of meeting up with Asuya, and Asuya does kind of say, bring back Rias, please. This is where Issei says, I would. I bring back the presents. This is where, well, Asuya says, okay. This is where Issei does go, but of course, Asuya kind of noticed one thing. Issei's hair is starting to go a little bit whitish. But of course, she doesn't say anything because she thought that was just the moonlight, because the moonlight was kind of bouncing off of Issei's head. This is where, well, Asuya didn't say anything, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into, well, the kind of like original canon where Issei busts through that whole like bullshit fanciness and says, I'm here to help Rias and free her from her bullshit marriage and otherness. This is where, well, Riser was pissed, but this is where Sir Zax was the one to call him in and blah blah blah. This is where, well, we go into the same like original canon battle, but this is where Issei, when he was in dragon red armor and all that, like the breaker thing, I forgot what it's called. Fuck, it's been a while. Leave me alone. Well, not that long, but yeah, you get the point. I'm just an idiot, forget things. This is where, well, Issei was in that armor for only 10 seconds, and he was beating the shit out of Riser pretty fast, and faster than the original canon punches. But Issei really thought that was just the strength of the dragon boost. This is where, well, he did kind of grab the two things that he got from his, well, closet. It was another letter that when he kind of searched in his closet contained of two weapons that he has on him right now. Well, kind of hidden mostly. This is where, well, he kind of has them concealed a little bit, and it's pretty hard for you to even look at, see, or he has them concealed. But it's weird because he does have them. One is a purplish, majestic kind of katana, but the blade seems to be black. Well, not black, like a very darkish purplish color with white. This is where, well, Issei was interested in that katana. But then he looks at the other one. The other one had a handle of like a demon kind of eye face. Of course, when he read on the letter, it pretty much said it all in cursive again. But this is basically the demon Thousand Dagger, because one was actually like had a bunch of like shattered blades stick together when Issei kind of looked into it. And when he poked one of the little blades, they didn't really move. Little fragment blades. But this is where, when he looks at the other one is called Enma, the King of Hell. This is where, well, Issei decides to take them with him just to fight against Riser. But yeah, this is where Issei is right now in Red Dragon armor. And this is where, well, he breaks out of his Red Dragon armor because he was out of that 1 second. And of course, Drake does know that Issei can contain more power than that 10 seconds. But he was actually wanting to see what would Issei do without the dragon armor. He wanted to know what the fuck that fruit does exactly. This is where, well, Issei, he kind of does get punched in the face by well, not even punched in the face by Riser, mostly kicked in the face and launched into, well, one of those towers. This is where Issei was in the tower, kind of, there's like dust and other things like picking up. And this is where, well, Issei says, no, I can't give up. I won't let her fail. This is where, well, Issei screams to the heavens, saying, Rias! He then says, I want to know, do you really want to marry this asshole? This is where, well, Rias thinks in her head and says no. Of course, this is where she's actually able to speak outside, and well, not speak outside, mostly speak in that dimension because of the screen and other things. She says no, and of course she's crying. Issei can see this clearly through the smoke and, well, what's it called, dust. It's where, well, Issei's eyes started transforming. One goes into a bluish, brightish color. The other goes into a dark purplish color. This is where, well, Issei says, I see. And I won't let you get to marry some asshole. This is where Riser says, huh? And what are you gonna do with it? Well, not do it. What are you gonna do? You don't even have the Red Dragon armor. You already lost that. It was 10 seconds. Pathetic. You couldn't even handle that. This is where, well, the Riser stopped kind of talking, and everyone kind of stopped kind of wondering what was happening after they heard this laughter. This is where, well, through the smoke and what's it called? Through the smoke and like dust. Right now, that was an Issei. You see the shadowy figure with his eyes kind of glowing, but of course, like a laughter, a smile. This is where, well, his hair started going up. This is where it was actually defying gravity, actually, by kind of just going up, even though there's no wind pushing the air, well, mostly his hair up. This is where, well, this weird little, like, what's it called, white smoke thing appears around Issei. Like if it was some kind of ring. Something that will show for him to be a god or something. This is where, well, he was laughing, saying, I won't let some asshole marry her because she's mine. Issei said, without even knowing what he was actually saying most of the time. He said this all unconsciously, mostly. This is where, well, Issei appears right in front of Riser, laughing and having this big grin of smile. This is where, well, Issei, he didn't say this on purposely, but this is where Issei sent a palm strike towards, what's it called, Riser, and at high speeds. This is where Riser gets hit by that palm strike. This is where he coughed up some blood, but of course, that wasn't the most shocking thing. This is where, well, this bubble thing appears behind Riser. This is where, well, Riser gets pushed back, but this is where the bubble is now on, well, Issei's, like, palm. This is where, well, Issei smiles, and of course, is still laughing. This is where, well, we go into a different dimension. Actually, we go into the human world. The human world where we're going into a warehouse. Someone is sitting down on a throne and looking at the little image that he's seeing through, like this image appearing right in front of him, thanks to another person activating his abilities. It's where this person has, well, kind of slick blonde hair, having, well, this pink kind of fur coat on him, has kind of a white coat underneath it, has no shirt. This is where, well, he has these pink pants, and of course these black shoes. This is where his pink pants doesn't go all the way down towards his legs entirely. It kind of stops halfway through. This is where, well, he looks to be like 10 feet tall. And of course, this is where he's sitting down, so it doesn't look like he's that tall. But of course, this is where, well, he puts his leg over, well, mostly his right leg over his left leg. And this is where, well, he says, "Go, little brother, show them what you can do now. Show them the true power of the Devilfruit. Kami no Mi. Show them, because you're a, what's it called? This is where, well, the person says, show them because you're a hero. Show them the true power that you have." This is where, well, we go back into Issei. This is where he's holding the little kind of like circle thing or whatever that is. This is where the ball thing is right now floating, what's it called, on Issei's kind of palm. Now, the thing that's different about Issei's palm, it looks like a paw. Even his other palm is also looks like a paw, like an animal type of palm. This is where, well, he is right now looking at, what was it called? Well, Riser with this kind of crazy look in his eyes. His hair is right now different also, because it's glowing up white. And it looks like it's just staying up there in flames. It looks to be flame colors now. But the one thing that's confusing about everyone is he's doing this also moving at the same time. This is where Issei is laughing. This is so fun. Let's continue on. This is where Riser says, whatever that is, it probably isn't that bad because I'm immortal. I can't die. This is where, well, Issei says, you're probably right, but your arrogancy is so much of it. Maybe I should give you a little fragment of piece of what I'm actually talking about. That's where Issei takes a little fragment of piece from the bubble and just tosses it towards Riser. This is where Riser, he says, oh, you think this is going to hurt me? Whatever, but what is the bubble going to do? When the bubble gets close to Riser, Riser felt incredible, so much pain throughout his body. This is where Riser falls down to the ground, just stunned from the pain. This is where, well, Issei said, oh, I'm sorry. You see here, this ability looks like it allows me to be able to repel anything. Let me show you what I mean, repulsion. This is where he swings his palm straight towards, like, what's it called? Riser. And this is where Riser just gets launched to a wall, smashing upon. This is where Issei says, see what I mean? Repellment. What an interesting ability that I have, don't I? But of course, the one thing that's strange about the bubble, it doesn't look to be reddish or pinkish, but looks to be like a kind of yellowish, kind of arrogance. It kind of has this aura of arrogancy in it. And it has like this color, like a yellowish color a little bit. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei goes on to explain. You see here, I'm able to repel anything, meaning that I easily repel your ass across, well, dimensions. But that's not even the case. What I just repel from your body is all the arrogancy, the cockiness, the whole bullshit about your mortality is right now here. You see here. I can repel it back towards your body, but when it goes back into your body, you're gonna feel this incredible, amazing amount of pain. This is where, well, Riser says, what? This is where he's coughing, and he feels kind of arrogant back again, but he feels still hurt. This is where, well, he's confused. Issei says, so, want it back? You probably do. Issei appears right in front of what's it called, Riser, but this time with lightning speed. He transformed his body into lightning and appeared right in front of Riser. Here, take your arrogancy back into your body. He smashes the freaking ball, this like bubbly ball, back into Riser. Riser felt incredible amounts of pain. This is where, well, he felt kind of fatigued also. But this is where another bubble appears behind him. This bubble is now red. This is where Issei then just fucking kicks Riser out of the way, smashing him across to the right. This is where Issei says, sorry about that. Now, all I wanted was this one. Pain and fatigue. The one that I did wasn't that painful, you see. It was only your arrogancy coming back into your body. This one is going to be more fun, don't you think? That's where Riser says, crazy son of a bitch. This is where everyone is seeing this, but the one thing is also mostly confusing. How the fuck did Issei transform his body into lightning and appear right in front of Riser, without a care in the world, smashing it into him? This is where, well, we go back into that human world. That's where the person is still watching from the screen, laughing. Well, he's laughing like this. This is where, well, the laughter goes. This is where the person's laughing. This funny, crazy look. This is where you can't really see his eyes, but you can see a pair of reddish shades. This is where, well, he says, go. You can show them all. Show that weakling that bastard should have never came across you. This is where, well, this is where you see a little bit of light shine through, like through a window, and it shows this person, basically a little bit of his face, but then you see other people. Everyone else with somewhat of a top hat. Some of them don't even have a top hat or anything. They kind of just wear clothing. Either they look like some kind of gang boss family here. That's where one is kind of smoking and saying, do you really have to laugh that much? Whatever. Go, you say. The person kind of right now puts a cigarette back into his mouth and keeps smoking. But yeah, this is where another person sees this. And this is where this person has this like whitish hat that kind of has black spots on it. But he has a sword and is looking at the screen saying, so that's the little brother of those two crazies. This is where, well, another person with kind of, well, his hair isn't, what's it called? Well, mostly he's pretty short and all that. And he looks at the screen and he says, I see. So it's the boss little brother. This is where, well, we go back into Issei. Issei says, let's have fun. Spread. This is where, well, he throws the paintballs like up in the air, but just spreads them out to smaller ones all around Issei. This is where Riser says, you think I'm afraid of my own pain? I'm not afraid. He rushes towards what's called the pain. He thinks it's just going to hurt like the ego, well, mostly the egotistic kind of, well, ball that he kind of went against. When he touches it, he felt this amount of just shocking pain through his body. More than ever. He couldn't even absorb the pain that was that ball. He let go of it extremely fast. And this is where he falls down to the ground, just coughing in blood, and of course just horrified at how much pain he had. This is where, well, Issei said, oh, come on, it's not that bad, is it? Come on. Issei is laughing, saying, come on, you know you can do this. You're the phoenix, you're the most immortal bird, whatever bullshit you were talking about. But if you can't handle it even once, then I'll just have to strike you down Issei snaps his fingers, and this is where something appears on top of the sky. This kind of like lightish bluish thing appears. This is where what's it called? Riser says, "What the hell is that?" He's right now just electrified through his body in an instant. A lightning pillar just striked him down. This is where, well, everyone is horrified to see Riser all bloodied up and hurt. This is where, well, Issei says, "Come on, is that the best you have? I thought you would be much stronger." Issei appears behind him. Right now, well, he appears behind him a light fucking speed. Issei says, "Come on, don't be too boring." Issei said, he then says in a word fast enough, Guru no mi. This is where a bubble appears. A whitish bubble appears in his hand, and he smashes it upon what's it called, Riser's body. Riser felt the incredible amount of pain, but the air was cracked and ripping apart. It was cracking mostly when Issei kind of smashed this white bubble into, what's it called? Riser felt so much pain in his back. He coughed up blood, but he was launched out of the way. Issei transformed into light, which was shocking for people. Like, wait, hold up, what? And then this just him breaking what's it called, the fucking air is also incredible. This is where Issei is kind of being shown to be like some kind of god. Issei laughs and Issei is laughing like a madman. This is where, well, Issei says, "We're not done there. Yummy no mi, dark void." This is where, well, Riser is being like pushed, well, he was being pushed away, but this is where he felt his body stand up for a little bit and then got just dragged back towards Issei. Issei says, "Where do you think you're going?" Issei was pulling him with his left hand and was covering darkness. And this is where, well, like a darkness kind of attack appeared on what's it called, well, kind of pulling, what's it called, well, not dark attack, mostly like this, like dark gravity pull of like this void appears, pulling what's it called, Riser towards Issei. This is what Issei said. "Where do you think you're going? We're having too much fun." Issei's hand ignited with just these magma kind of, like his arm became all magma. And this is where he smashes through what's it called, Riser. Riser coughed up so much blood. This is where Issei says, "Come on, is that the best you have?" Issei removed his hand, well, out of what's called Riser's kind of chest. Riser has this giant hole, and of course it's trying to be healed. But this is where the magma punch. This is where, well, we go into another dimension, and of course this is where Luffy is crying right now, seeing his brother have a hole through his chest and a magma punch through that bitch. But yeah, he's now became a donut. Riser is having the same feeling. This is where he, for some reason, had the same feeling of that. But yeah, we go back into Riser. This is where, well, Issei said, "You can't be serious. Is this the best you have? Seriously?" This is where, well, Issei then just appeared right in front of Riser. Like, he appears, he was behind Riser, but then this is where he appears right in front of Riser in blinding speed. This is where Issei said, "Come on, is that the best you have? I wasn't even getting too serious." This is where, well, he grabs Riser from the neck, and this is where, well, Issei says, "Ignite!" Lightish, bluish flames. Well, mostly he says, not ignite, it says, "Combustion!" Boom! Bluish flames appears on Riser's neck. This is where Riser gets blasted away also, because Issei lets go of him by blasting him with bluish flames. This is where Riser smashes into a wall. He's barely able to even resist, what's it called, all these attacks. He's being bombarded. He realized that Issei is not normal. Issei is laughing. This is where Issei is just laughing like he went insane for a second. This is where, well, Issei then pull out both of his hands up in the air. And this is where, well, both of his hands right now, well, didn't do anything. But Issei swings it straight towards Riser. Both of them at the same time. But it looked like he just swung the air. But this is where Riser was cut into a million pieces. This is where, well, Riser went in his eyes. but luckily to his flames, he managed to survive a little bit. Even if some of those cuts was actually seemed to permanently hurt his body. This is where, well, Issei says, oh, you survived that. What an interesting thing. What Issei did was basically not use wind manipulation, but little strings that appear on his finger. This is where Issei said, you're pretty interesting. Surviving all that. I thought I'd definitely kill you. We shouldn't be getting to the main course. I'm just still hungry, very hungry for your blood to go on the ground. Issei said with this kind of cruel smile. This is where Riser is confused. This monster demon, whatever he is, he's not normal right now. This is where Issei said, oh, I should probably hurt you really bad. I should torture you. How much pain do you cause to Rias? This is where, well, Issei has this big grin and smile in his, what's it called, just face. This is where, well, he then says, let's begin, shouldn't we? We go into only 10 seconds later, while Issei walking away from Riser. Riser has multiple light jabs all around him, like light spears, dark spears, lightning spears, other element kind of spears like fire, earth, and other like metal spears all around his body. But it didn't hit his heart entirely. But of course, he's barely able to regen fast enough. That's where Issei said, are you done? I thought I had to kill you. Well, there's always a possible chance because no one has said anything about me being the winner. So let's finish this. Issei jumps in the air, and this is where he transforms his body into bluish flame. This is where, well, he screeches and roars. He's now the famous fruit. Tora Tora no Mi, Maru Phoenix. This is where, well, it's a bluish color, and it looks just like Marco's Devilfruit. This is where Issei is right now flying up in the sky. This is where he flies around for a little bit. And this is where Riser won his eyes. The Phoenix. Something that he's very famous for his family and all them other things. But Issei just transformed into a phoenix without a care in the world. This is where Issei's flying around. He flies a little bit far away and then comes back in high speeds. Right now getting out of the phoenix mode, but still his leg was transformed into a phoenix mode. This is where Issei grabs Riser from the head and smash him down to the ground without a care in the world. This is where Riser's face is now just crushed to the ground, deep into the ground. Issei says, so do you give up? Or do you want to keep having fun? I'm getting really bored of you. I could easily kill you. I can easily take your heart out and crush it right in front of you. Do you want to keep fighting me? Because this is surely getting really fucking bored. This is where, well, mostly boring towards Issei, but yeah. This is where, well, coughed up blood. But he realized that he's not going against Issei at all, or mostly the Red Dragon Emperor anymore, but a god he sees in his eyes. This is where, well, this is where Riser was about to say he give up, but this is where, well, Sursak says, winner is Issei Hyodo. This is where, well, Issei, he gets out of what's it called, well, mostly his feet was out of what's it called, Riser's face before it transformed back into his actual leg instead of the phoenix leg. And this is where Issei's hair just goes back down being brown. Both of his eyes transform back into being brownish also. And the little smoky cloud that was around him, like if he was a god or something, disappears. Issei felt really tired. Now, of course, he did know what was happening the whole time. Well, kind of. It wasn't him entirely, but it was him. He felt like he was still in control when he was doing all this. But the laughter and craziness was actually still him. It was something that was buried within Issei for such a long time. Fighting against Riser actually made him feel really relief. This part, well, he says, that actually feels really relief. I don't feel as perverted as much. Whatever, should be probably going. Issei starts walking away, and that's where, well, Riser is right now really treated and fastly wounded and all them other things. Of course, this is where his sister appears, and this is where his sister was kind of having a little blush because Issei transformed into a phoenix without a care in the world. And Issei was beating the shit out of Riser without a care in the world. This is where the paintballs, I should mention, all disappear. When Issei was fighting against Carl Reiser, it disappears after a while because he just repels him by destroying him. And this is where Issei easily beat the shit out of Reiser while using his own pain and fatigue. Issei could have repelled the pain out of what's it called Reiser again, just to make him feel the terrifying amount of pain that he would ever feel in his entire life, and made sure to crush his spirit. Well, wanted to, but then he thinks that was a little cruel, so he didn't do it that much. This is where, well, we go into mostly the outside. This is where, well, Sir Zack sees what's called Issei, and of course, Rias being the next one, but mostly Sir Zack says, that was a very interesting battle, Issei Kyoto. It seems that was a very powerful power that you did. Tell me, what was that exactly? Issei says, don't know much. All I know is, I don't actually know where I fucking got that. Issei lied because he remembers the fruit, and he does kind of know what this fruit is called mostly. It's called the Kami Kami no Mi. He doesn't know entirely its history, but of course, he can do crazy shit like he can actually, be able to use a bunch of elements without a care in the world. He can be using darkness and light without a care. He doesn't need a Pacific Devilfruit to be using these, but he just thinks about it in his head in an instant, and he'll just use them against anyone that pisses him off. This is White Room. Issei feels for some reason he feels like a god. He doesn't understand it, but he doesn't say anything. Now Drake, right now in his mind, was actually shocked. The fruit that just Issei ate was something that he saw once in his life. Actually, it was once in his fucking life. He only met this person once in his life. Someone to be somewhat like a god, and could have easily put down the red and even white dragon down. But he disappeared a long time before even destroying the red and white dragon, even the red domination dragon of Apocalypse. This person could have easily put them down without a care in the world, with his godly power of everything. This is where, well, the red dragon, he didn't say anything towards Issei, because he felt the same energy of power flowing through Issei's body, and the same color of eyes, somewhat. But the color of eyes that he remembers the person having were these golden yellowish eyes. Issei's eyes were a bluish, very brightish bluish color, with one being a dark purplish color. This is where, well, he didn't understand much of it, but Issei was goddamn powerful. He only showed a fragment of power, and this is where, well, he easily obliterated Reiser. Made sure Reiser stayed being a bitch for his entire fucking life. Yeah, Issei didn't give a shit. Now, of course, we go into Rias and Issei getting on, well, the Griffin. Now, this is where Rias is very happy, and she does hug Issei, even though, well, one thing for sure, she would actually ask him and what it was actually, what he did and all that. Issei kind of lied a little bit and said he didn't really know. Kind of just thought of his head, but yeah. Now, Rias really actually liked the white hair that Issei had. Of course, she didn't really like the crazy look into his eyes, but his eyes were different. At the same time, it was confusing, but it was showing how powerful he really is. This is where, well, Issei, he doesn't know much about what he was doing at the time. He did it out of instinct, like if he'd done this before. But for some reason, he felt like he'd done this before, even though he never done it before. It was so confusing on his mind, but he didn't care much. He also felt really strong. When he was actually kind of looking through his body just to see if he got any wounds from Reiser, any of his wounds that he did get from Reiser healed in an instant. Gone. They're just gone. This is where, well, Issei also felt that he got muscles. He was confused. He's like, where the fuck did these muscles came from? But yeah. Issei still has the holy water and the cross and other than that. But just one thing that actually changed. The holy water is now a darker blue substance. But of course, well, it started shaping into something else. The cross actually fused entirely with the water. This is where Issei doesn't know about it because it's in his pocket, but he never actually, used it against Reiser. This is where, well, Issei said, well, we should probably be going back. This is where, well, Ria says, yeah. This is where she wrapped her arms around Issei and says, thank you. This is where she kissed him in the mouth. And that's where Issei's face becomes red and says, what are you doing? This is where Rhea says, I just really wanted to see. Well, it's my first still. This is where Issei says, wait, what? Oh, this is where, well, we go into, well, the same place that was looking through the screen, but now the screen is blank. And the little screen image disappear after a while. This is where, well, the person says, so, how was that, my lord? This is where the blondish, well, mostly the blondish man kind of said, it was interesting. So, well, he had blondish kind of hair. This is where he says, so, little bro has become stronger. And with the fruit that he's using, it seems to actually improve his body and other things. Yes. Yes, indeed. He has improved a lot. He says, you have improved a lot since you were a 10-year-old. Probably thanks to the fruit. But yet, for some reason, I doubt that. He starts laughing, kind of like this psychotic laugh a little bit. But yeah, this worked well. We go into Issei the next day, and of course, Issei realized that Rhea is living with him after a while. This is where, well, Issei was kind of shocked and confused on why she was living with him, but of course, this is where Issei kind of realized that the, well, occult club is actually going to, well, stay in his house because, well, the occult research club was actually being renewed and other things. But yeah, that's where Issei said, okay, yeah, sure, let's do that. This is where, well, Issei is right now just seeing everyone there. Of course, this is where, well, Rios is explaining and what's happening and other things and blah 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 towards everyone. And this is where, well, everyone is there. Mostly Rios is sitting on the bed. Akana also. Issei is on the ground, and this is where, well, he sees what's it called, well, Kiba, well, mostly seeing one of the images, or mostly a picture and all that, about, well, Issei, a girl that was in that image and all that, and a sword. This is where Kiba is looking at it intensely, and this is where, well, Issei kind of notices, and this is where he says, yo, Kiba, what are you looking at? This is where Kiba says, nothing. This is where Issei says, you're looking at either the picture of the girl, which I doubt that mostly. Issei said that with a kind of knowing kind of look a little bit. But then he says, you might be looking at the sword. If you're going to ask me where it was, I don't actually know. It's been actually like a couple of years since the last time I seen her or the sword. But yeah. This is where, well, Kiba nodded. This is where, well, he was kind of confused in how Issei kind of said that very casually. Like, if Issei is kind of knowing a little bit more than his perviness. And this is where Issei has become less perverted after a while. Actually, he's became less and less perverted. Pretty much, every time he sees, well, Rhea's kind of not in clothing, he kind of does have a blood nose and passes out. But yeah, I mean, that's what any pervert would do, but yeah. But this is where Issei isn't having like these plus 18 comic things that usually is full of women and other things in his, like, well, mostly in his bed. He actually doesn't use them that much. He actually just threw them away, but yeah, doesn't really care. But really, this is where, well, Kiba is looking around. He says, yeah. This is where he noticed in the closet 2 katanas. Well, one katana, which was smaller than the other katana. But this is where, when Kiba was about to touch him, Issei kind of says, hey Kiba, can you hold something for me? Kiba says, sure. This is where, well, Issei knew what Kiba was going to do. It was grab the 2 katanas and, well, kind of like dagger thing, tanto or small, medium katana. I don't remember my original name, but yeah. But of course, Issei kind of went to bother Kiba with something else instead of him grabbing the katana or the kind of like medium katana. This is where, well, Kiba does kind of like just gets distracted with something else that Issei asked. But yeah, that's where Kiba was confused. Those 2 weapons that Issei had seems to have like this strange kind of demonic glow. And this is where Kiba kind of widened his eyes after a while, but yeah. well, not one of his eyes, because they had to go towards what they call that place with the whole stray devil and all that. Kiba was distracted, but this is where Issei appears, destroying the devil in an instant with a flash of blue, lightning style. Lightning obliteration dragon. This is where a dragon appears out of Issei's hand. And this is where the dragon smashes into the devil and destroying it in an instant. That's where Issei says, hey man, get your head in the game. That's where Kiba says, yeah. This is where everyone's so confused. How is Issei able to control lightning without a care in the world? He didn't even use magic entirely. This is where, well, they still don't actually ask him those questions. Because when anyone asks him that question, Issei kind of says, oh, look at the time, I gotta go. This is where Issei kind of walks away, but yeah. But this is where, when Issei wasn't actually being questioned, it was mostly Ria slapping Kiba and saying, you idiot. This is where she goes on the whole rant and other things. This is where, well, Kiba says, I gotta go. This is where he starts walking away. This is where Issei sighs, and this is where, well, he does go home, and of course, where he does ask Ria about what was that all about. This is where Ria says, oh, it was just something. This is where, well, Issei said, you know, you shouldn't be kind of hiding things away from me, Ria. I'm your friend, and I am one of your servants. So come on. This is where, well, Ria kind of sighs and starts explaining what's wrong with Kiba. He mostly is revenge and wanted to destroy what they call Excalibur. This is where Issei kind of noticed one thing. One of his swords kind of glow with this kind of menacing kind of purplish color. This is where Issei says, that name. It reacted towards the name. Okay. He then says, oh, okay. This is where, well, Ria says, what was that look? Issei said, so Excalibur, isn't that one of those stories where that great person named King Arthur kind of grabbed the sword to pull out Excalibur or something? Ria says, basically, yeah. So, well, Ria says, oh, okay. So, what about, well, not Ria said, okay. So if you know what it is, then I shouldn't really explain it that much, really. Issei says, nah, it's fine. I understand. This is where Ria says, okay. Well, she then says, let's go. This is where, well, she drags, not Kiba, mostly Issei, along towards the bed, but yeah. This is where Issei is still sleeping with full clothes, and Ria doesn't sleep with any clothes, but yeah. This is where, oh, we go to the next day, and of course, this is where Kiba was kind of there, well, mostly at the Occult Research Club the next couple of days, because, well, he was what's called seeing the two, well, mostly he was hiding in the shadows, before he kind of met what's called Irina and Azenia. This is where, well, Azenia and Irina did kind of scold at Azia about how she's a witch because she has the power to heal fallen angels, devils, and they thought she was some kind of saint, but she was actually a witch. Issei stood up and says, you know, calling someone a witch is pretty evil, and you could easily die. This is where, well, Ria says, Issei, don't do anything crazy. This is where, well, Issei said, I will easily kill you if people keep calling her a witch. This is where Issei had this kind of angry look into his eyes. Very angry look. This is where, well, Kiba says, I'll be with you. I will defeat these weaklings and destroy Excalibur. This is where, well, Azenia and also Irina kind of nodded and kind of accepted the kind of battle between, well, Kiba, Issei versus them. But yeah, this is where Irina is going against Issei, and this is where, well, Kiba is going against, well, Azenia. This is where, well, what's it called? Irina says, I'm sorry, because you're my best friend. You were my childhood friend that I had to fight you. I'm so sad that you became a devil. Blah, 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 blah. She's going on with that. Issei sighs and says, so you be fighting with some kind of katana sword? This is where Irina says, yes, because this is Excalibur. I forgot what it's actually called, but yeah. This is one of the pieces of Excalibur. This is where Azenia does have Excalibur, the destruction one, versus against Kiba's, what's it called, sword. But yeah, this is where Issei said, fine, I'll be also fighting against you with a sword. This is where everyone was kind of confused as they're hearing that. This is where Issei pulls out a sword that was called, well, he said, Thousand Demon Dagger, but in a quiet, very tone voice. This is where no one heard it except Kiba. Kiba heard that name of blade, but of course it was confusing when Issei pulls it out from the sheath. It looks like a blade, regularly looks like a medium-sized blade, if it didn't look all shattered. Like the blade itself looks all shattered, but sharp at the same time. That's where Irina says, "What the hell happened to that sword? What did you do? Did you just smash it together and accidentally had it to glue it again? Or you just too broke or something?" Issei says, I guess you can say that. Let's fight then. That's where, well, Irina started fighting against Issei and realized that the sword is actually holding up. This is where she thinks that he used some kind of powerful glue for this shit, but yeah. That's where Irina then uses a holy power from the sword to slash through the katana. The katana shatters into a million pieces. That's where Irina says, I guess that glue wasn't powerful enough to destroy what's it called, my sword. That's where, well, everyone else really thought that Issei was being kind of cheap with the sword. That's where Kiba noticed the blade, almost the bladed kind of daggers, kind of like blades all around. That's where Issei still has the handle, and then that's where, well, Kiba noticed one thing. If the handle of the dagger is still intact, and the blade seems to just be on the ground, why isn't the handle fully shattered? Because if Issei had it fully shattered, it should have shattered also, or just broken down the handle. That's where Issei just kind of give out like the small little glint of like joy and love of what's it called? Not enjoy and love, mostly this kind of enjoyment of this person's celebration. This is where Kiba had also kind of this weird kind of feeling with Issei. Issei swings the handle right in front of him, and this is where, well, Issei says, you say that my blade is broken. You say that it's shattered. You say that it's unusable. What I say is you're an idiot. This is where Issei snapped his fingers, and this is where all the dagger of the bladed weapon, mostly the blades appear, all appear in front of Irina, all float up. This is where Issei said, this sword is called the Thousand Bladed Demon Dagger. I'll show you what it can do. This is where the handle glows up to this bluish color, and the eye hole that was in that kind of, well, blade dagger, because it does have like this eye hole, becomes red. Issei's eyes become red, and this is where Issei swings his handle down, like the handle down, even though the blade isn't intact with the handle. This is where the blade actually appears on top of Irina, and Irina couldn't dodge fast enough. This is where she tries to cut it with the sword, but this is where she then gets stabbed into multiple times. This is where, well, she falls down, crying in pain. This is where Issei said, you know, you shouldn't be hoping to believe that I don't have a powerful weapon. Irina, you might be having a holy weapon, but holy weapons aren't as strong as those of legend weapons. Legendary mythical weapons. This is where Issei smiles. This is where the blades decide to come back into the handle. And this is where Issei puts it back into the sheath. This is where Issei, he then puts his dagger blade next to him and says, well, what did we learn, Irina? Irina's like, you damn devil. This is where Issei says, I guess we didn't learn anything. But still, it's a very interesting, what's it called? Life lesson, isn't it? This is where, well, I'm gonna say, she glares at what's it called, Issei. Issei did kind of accidentally rip her clothes. This is where Issei takes off his coat and just put it over her and says, you better go get changed. You don't want to accidentally get a cold and all them other things. This is where, well, everyone kind of went in their eyes because they would think Issei, with that type of weapon, could easily rip women's clothes off and be a pervert and other like other things. This is where Issei kind of didn't do something like that, which kind of shocked them all, but yeah. Now, Kiba was kind of amazed with the blade that Issei did. Now, Issei's kind of swing with the handle was very gently, like very, very gentle. Like, he knew that the bladed weapon has what's called abilities. Of course, this is where Kiba thought that Issei didn't know anything about that. But of course, Issei seemed to be a professional, what's it called, sword user. Like if he has used a sword before. This is where, well, we go into Kiba kind of losing against Azenia, but Azenia decides to try to fight against, well, Issei. Issei kind of, almost gets hit by the sword until he transforms into lightning and appears right in front of Azenia. When Azenia hits the sword down to the ground and explodes, but that's where Issei appears, right now having lightning at the fingertip of his, what's it called, nail, right in front of Azenia. This is where Issei says, boom, you you would have seen to, well, I would say, you would have had to seen God first time. First trip to the fucking, well, almost say a first plane, well, not first plane, first class towards God. I could have easily sent you there. You know, your recklessness is pretty damn recklessness. It's more reckless than Kiba, but, you know, Kiba's just Kiba. Other than that, you shouldn't be attacking someone else that defeated your comrade. You should still have a calm head instead of attacking me out of rage. That's where, well, Issei sounds like a professional when he comes to kind of tell her about this. But yeah, even though none of them ever seen him use a katana, seeing him use some kind of medium katana is actually shocking. But yeah. This is where, well, we go into, well, a time skip. Mostly about, well, Kiba leaving and going to be a stray to get revenge and other things. But yeah, Issei thinks that this is such a stupid idea. But Issei, he does actually bother with kind of helping Kiba. Now, of course, where, well, Issei still gets Sanji and the others about this, but yeah. But of course, where, well, when they go to kind of help Kiba, that's where Issei kind of fought against, was it called, Frederick. And of course, Issei did actually manage to cut one of Frederick's arms off with the Thousand Demon Dagger. That's where Issei says, you're quite pathetic, using that sword without even having any professional skills, and just hoping for the Holy Sword to be able to affect devils. You're pretty pathetic than I thought. This is where, well, Frederick says, I'm going to kill you. This is where the priest says, we're going to have to leave. This is where Frederick says, fine. He does say, what's it called, blindness thing. And of course, this is where Frederick and what's it called, the Holy Priest were running away. Until Issei says, oh no you don't. This is where Issei puts his, what's it called, left finger right in front of him, his index finger. And this is where he aims. And this is where a bright light appears. Right now, this twinkling light appears in his fingers. This is where all of them wind their eyes when they were kind of seeing this. Mostly Irina and Xenia. And this is where Kiba kind of noticed what this is. Sanji didn't know what the fuck that was because he never seen this. This is where, well, Kiba has seen this when he was fighting against Riser. This is where Issei says, Pico Pico no Mi, light style, flashing, light speed shot. This is where a light speed shot goes right so fast that both, well, Riser or even Frederick didn't have, well, not Riser, mostly Frederick or the priest even know what happened. Priest got shot. This is where he got shot. And goes, Kah. He kind of falls down to the ground, but this is where he gets up and still keeps running. Issei says, oh my, you actually survived that. Well, the second attack won't be able to miss your head. This is where, well, Rias and Sonya appears, or not Sonya, yeah, Sonya appears saying, what is happening? Issei says, fuck, I missed my shot. They managed to jump down, well, mostly both Frederick and, what's it called, the priest, they managed to go down somewhere because Issei managed to lose track of both of them. Issei says, damn, so annoying. He said it with this kind of slow tone of his voice. This is where, well, all of them wind their eyes, but yeah. This is where, well, Kiba says, screw it. He kind of ran off to kind of get them. But this is where, well, we go into, well, Rias and Sonya kind of punishing their kind of servants. When Rias tried to punish Issei, Issei was basically made out of lightning. Every time Rias tried to hit him, well, not made out of lightning entirely, made out of darkness. This is where Issei says, you seem to not be able to hit me. I might be just intangible. You see here, I don't know what's happening to my body most of the time. That's where Rias say, ugh, son of a... This is where she's angry, but yeah, Sonya and Sanjin, even what's it called, Sonya's queen, is kind of confused. Akana is also confused, and Kona, yeah, whatever, Kona is kind of also confused, but yeah. They are seeing how Issei is kind of acting a little bit, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei said, whatever, I should be going then. That's where Issei said, well, I'll see you at the house, Rias. This is where Issei transforms into light and disappears in an instant. This is where all of them are still winding their eyes. Sanji says, no way he can transform into light. What the fuck, isn't he a devil? This is where, well, Rias sighs and says, yes, he's a devil. I just don't know what the fuck he's using. This is where, well, Sonya says, he's quite powerful when using those abilities. Like he knows how to use them. Are you sure you haven't questioned him even further about what he can do? This is where, well, Rias says, no, not yet. This is where she's actually going to the house, but comes there to be late, but yeah. of course, this is where I'm gonna leave it off because I gotta go do something. But other than that, this is part one. Well, mostly part one read to. But yeah, I pretty much just wanted to read to from part one of the other one. But yeah, so other than that, have a nice day, have a nice night, whatever. Happy New Year's, and other than that, bye. But yeah.